when I get a visitor, Joyce Ayi comes to say, I have some bad news for you. Your story was not well received at the castle, and I have a letter for you to go on indefinite suspension.
Join your host, Samuel Atamenta, as he engages Kojoyanka this Saturday on Footprints at 9 a.m. with a repeat on Sunday at 4 p.m. only on Citi TV.
Footprints is proudly sponsored by Creamy Plus Evaporated Milk.
Hello, fly from the Parliament House of Ghana. Welcome to the Citi Newsroom. My name is Vivian Kai Loco.
And I am Umar Rusanda Amadou. Coming up.
PIAC and GMPC appear before the vote of censure committee looking into matters brought against the finance minister. Today we'll be giving you details of what they were asked to answer in their appearance before the committee.
An amount of 100,748,907.95 million United States dollars, which was reported realized from the lifting, was not paid into a petroleum holding fund as required by law.
Government announces new minimum wage. The figure is less than 15 cedis. But can you survive on 15 cedis?
The security, I can't calculate for that. No, they don't calculate for that. They give you month 500, 400, 450, 300.
And later we'll take you to the Ashanti region where an unidentified man has been beheaded.
We are just making announcement to the public that if your family member or you can't find him from Monday going, you can come and check whether it is him or not.
The Black Stars make Ghanaians happy and hopeful as they score 2-0 to defeat Switzerland in the last international friendly before the World Cup.
I think we allow less chances. We allowed some chances, but they were less, and we created a lot. And so I'm very, very happy for this game, despite the result. Because now, if we win or lose, we don't get any points at the World Cup. So we have to focus on Portugal.
Let's start with our first story, and we're here in Parliament because the committee looking into the allegations brought against the finance minister today had its second sitting, and they invited the GNPC as well as PIAC to answer some questions that had popped up. Now, our parliamentary correspondent here, Ni Ayikwe Okai, will throw more light on what happened in Parliament. Thank you and welcome to the Citi Newsroom. Now, we know two organizations appeared before the committee today. What were some of the highlights from this sitting?
Okay, so the parliamentary committee set up by the Speaker probing the vote of censure against the Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta had before it today the Public Interest Accountability Committee. Now, if you would recall, the allegation that has been leveled against the Finance Minister as part of these allegations was that illegal payments have been made to an offshore company from the oil revenues. This is an allegation that was leveled by the minority, so they had to call on PIAC to come and then also either affirm or deny this particular allegation.
This was what we reported. In line with GNPC's strategy to increase its stake in viable oil blocks, the corporation acquired a 7% interest from Occidental Petroleum and a Dalco WCTP company in respect of the company's Deepwater Tunnel West Cape 3-point assets for 119 million United States dollars, effective 1st April 2021. JOHL made its first lifting, 944,164 barrels of oil on the Jubilee field in the first half of 2022. Mr. Chairman, an amount of 100,748,907.95 million United States dollars, which was reported realized from the lifting, was not paid into a petroleum holding fund as required by law. We wrote to the GRA, both the GRA and the Ministry for Finance, for responses on this issue. Mr. Chairman, in his written response to PIAC on the matter, the Ghana Revenue Authority referred the committee to the Ministry of Finance, indicating that the ministry was exclusively in charge of the transaction. And the Ministry of Finance, in turn, referred the committee to the Ghana Revenue Authority for answers.
The Ghana National Petroleum Corporation, GNPC, also appeared before the committee and disagreed with PIAC on the assertion. GNPC says Jubilee Holdings is a company on its own and could not transfer all of its profits into the Petroleum Holding Fund.
We disagree with PIAC's assertion that it should have been paid to.
So why? Can you explain to the committee why you disagree?
Yes, so Honorable Chair, as it was discussed during the PIAC testimony or submission, JOHL is 100% subsidiary of GNPC. We believe it's a company incorporated. It's a company registered under the Company Act. And obviously the terms and conditions, the constitution of JOHL is governed by the Company Act. And for that reason, 100% of the revenue cannot be paid into the Petroleum Holding Fund. The company must operate, and if at the end of the day it declares profit and the directors decide that dividend must be paid, that money is paid to GNPC, and that money paid, of course, will be paid into the Petroleum Holding Fund. So we believe that the JOHL is governed by the Company Act, not by the Petroleum Revenue Management Act.
The 8-member ad hoc committee probing the vote of censure against the finance minister is expected to sit on Friday, and on that day, the finance minister himself, Ken Ofori-Atta, is also expected to react to the allegations leveled against him by the minority. Reporting for Citi News from Parliament, my name is Ni Ayukwe Okain.
On the Citi Newsroom today, we are looking at the state of survival, how people are surviving in these harsh economic conditions. The government has announced that from January we are going to earn, and I'm referring to people who earn salary, should earn a minimum wage of some 15 cedis. It's 14 cedis, 88 pesos, but that's almost 15 cedis, which means no one should be paid below 15 cedis from January. The figure rose from 13 cedis, so an increase of around 1 cedi. Now, that is on the numbers, but what about the practical side? How much is the minimum wage really worth? And can people survive on the minimum wage? That is the story we are looking at on the Citi Newsroom today. And we're moving around to speak to random workers to ask them how they're surviving. My name is Umaru Sanda Amadu, and you're welcome to follow us on this journey. A taxi driver, regularly they are the ones who help move people around. They interact with people and they also have to survive. Joseph, how long have you been driving taxi for?
10 years.
10 years. Do you do work and pay? Is it your own taxi or you get salary?
Month pay.
Month pay. So they pay every month?
Yeah.
Your car owner pay you month?
Yeah.
But you also go and do sales? So you do sales every week or every month?
Every week.
So you do sales, then at the end of the month, then you give you your salary? Is that how they do it all the time, or it's only you?
All the time.
Do you want to tell me how much they pay you in the month?
Yeah.
How much?
1.6.
1.6. That's 1,600 or 160?
160.
1.6 million.
Yeah.
Kufu Oscar, 1.6.
1.6 cities.
10 city, 10 city, 10 city, 16.
Yeah.
That's what they, at the end of the month. What do you use it for?
And I guess it will be, say, yeah.
Access is Kadada 1.6.
NHL. If you say me, yes, it's 80 cities. We say 80 cities a month, no, 2 days.
Unya tips be ana ebia se osikano ebru 80 cities a niemba kano enu ye wodia.
Ndia ba embro so. Fu en be jini nyina embro.
Ete Ghana no.
Embro.
We sure say nye dakro loading niama na ufa passengers unya more than 80 Ghana.
Je metimi adwuma 6.2. Meko ko bufu be 5 million. Nti bo how ubenya 80 cities na wonya 20 cities per home.
Na 1.6 dia masa okay o year ni nkola.
Mpachan.
Nkola se no.
Bako.
Nti 1.6 no. Oni o year mo che ne se.
Eni ya in kwa faso ya che no.
Na survivor generally o to rent.
Mpachan.
Electricity.
Mpachan.
Nsio.
Bibia.
O didi.
Didi pa.
Nti o manage ni se.
Eni anchi Nyankopon ko.
Aban no say yentua 15 cedis a minimum wage from next year. Usika no say calculation no ka wo de no endu 15 cedis a day.
Endu 15 cedis a day. Endu.
And you survive saying?
En kakra ya na.
Yeah, that's why. That's a taxi driver. A story a little maybe to the extreme left of the scale, if you look at it in the negatives, earning 160 cedis monthly, has a wife and a child, takes care of every other thing in the family, rent, accommodation, that is, food, water, electricity, as in utilities and the rest, as well as even transportation to go pick his taxi to move around. Now that story of the minimum wage is a story that we do know looks a bit impractical. Even if you were being paid a minimum wage every day, it's difficult to survive on that. We're still getting a few more perspectives on the situation with the economy and how people are surviving. Based on what you're wearing, I know you're a security guard.
Mm-hmm.
You do only daytime or you do night as well?
I'm day for here.
Okay, so you do only day?
Yeah.
How long have you been doing this job for?
Well, I started somewhere 208, but not this company.
Okay, but you've been doing it security company generally?
Yes.
So that's for 14 years?
Almost.
How is life?
Well, day by day, life is difficult. Today cannot be the same as yesterday and tomorrow.
How are you surviving with the economy? How much you earn versus how much you spend? How are you doing that permutation and calculation?
Well, as for me, I'm using bicycle as transportation. Because, and at times...
Where do you live?
I used to live with my friend at Abrikuma. Before, I was having a house in Farmrek, but as I'm living alone here, my wife is at Kumasi. Yes, so I'm using bicycle. Not all days. At times I used to go home once a week or 2-3 times a week.
So when you ride your bicycle, so you sleep here then?
No.
So where do you ride your bicycle to?
I'm living with a friend at Odona fitting shop.
So you take the bicycle and go and sleep there and come back?
Yes.
But if you want to buy food, what kind of food do you buy during the day to survive on?
Times I buy cocoa in the morning, then I buy banku or yam.
And if you take all of that out of your salary, you still have some left?
No matter how. Okay. Supposed to get something.
How many children do you have?
Well, now I have about 5 children. Yes.
It means that they pay you a lot for you to be taking care of this?
No, not much. Not much. As I'm living here alone now, I think it's better for me, but...
There's something called minimum wage. The government is projecting that by January, people should not be paid less than 15 cedis a day. Do you get paid less than 15 cedis a day currently, or you get paid 15?
As a security, I can't calculate for that. But they don't calculate for that. They give you month 500, 400, 450, 300. Yes, that's
what they generally pay to security people.
Yes.
So that's
all the security companies. Some pay starting from 400, 450, 500, 550.
But that's a range.
Some people are paying more than that. Okay. If you are lucky, get somebody, a client, who has employed you, not through the security company, you can get more.
And so that's enough for you to survive on?
Not enough, but how can I survive? I can't stay home as a family person. Yeah. I'm supposed to work. Yes.
Wish you all the best, and thank you for being here.
Same to you.
Well, so more of the stories, more of the perspectives coming up. We are picking the thoughts of Ghanaians and finding out how they're surviving. This is the Citi Newsroom on Citi TV. We've come to a popular rice depot in Adabraka known as 2000, and we're trying to speak to some of the people who work here just to understand how the situation is for them. How are you surviving in this?
It's not easy. Compare this year to the previous years. That is very, very difficult. It's very difficult.
When you say very difficult, explain it. What does it mean?
Transportation. For me to get everyday transport from house to work is very difficult. Even the water to drink. Now, pure water is 50 pesos. The bottled water, about 4 cedi. It's very hard. And look at how much I'm ending per month. I don't know. I'm living.
Is it okay to sit here? I can sit. Thank you. No, okay, you are standing up. What's your name?
My name is Emmanuel Atingan.
Emmanuel, how long have you been working for?
It's almost close to 3 years.
You've been working for 3 years. You went to university, secondary school, GSS?
SS.
And you decided you are going to look for money?
Yeah.
Have you found money?
No.
What's happening? What's the problem?
I'm taking care of my mom and my siblings. So right now, I don't think I can go to school because of how the economy is.
Okay. You take pay at the end of the month. I don't know if you want to tell me how much you're paid, but what you are paid, I know nobody's salary is enough, but what they pay you, is it enough to keep a few things up?
No. I want to tell you the truth, it's not up to.
Tell me your story. How does it happen for you?
Even with my price, the money that I take monthly, if I am to take my lorry fare out of it, it won't be left with anything.
So how are you surviving then?
We manage.
Managing will be difficult. So if they give you 100 cedis a month, you spend all of it on transportation. What happens? Where do you get money to buy food? Where do you get money to?
Normally, it's the same work I'm doing. Maybe at here when we carry, we charge per bag 50 pesos. So at the end of the day, we share that money. So I manage with that one before I'll get my salary, and then I'll know what to do with the salary.
So life is
it's very, very hard.
What are you looking forward to in the future? What do you hope to see soon, or what?
I would like to go back to school because of how the economy is. I have to take care of my mom, my father, and my 3 other siblings.
And it's difficult.
It's difficult, very, very difficult.
How long have you been working for in life, generally?
We've been working for 18 to 20 years.
Wow. It means your salary is plenty now.
Oh, somehow.
You're doing well.
Yeah, things are very, very hard because my salary cannot take care of me. I have a car. I stay at Dodua. I fill a car, a Toyota Vitz. I used to, every week, I spend about 1,000 Ghana to fill it because it can't take me in and out. So in a week, I spend 1,000 on the fuel. So on my salary, it's not enough.
From Dodowa to Accra, that's a long journey.
Yes, very long journey.
So if you can't survive on your salary, what do you do? How do you survive? Because you're surviving.
Yes, I'm surviving. I'm doing some other businesses attached to what I'm doing here. Yes.
And how difficult or stressful is that? Because you come here in the morning and close in the evening, don't you?
It's very stressful. Sometimes I spend the night, the time I will use to rest, I spend it to do some other business so that it can cater for me, for the children and the family. I close from here 5 o'clock. And when I get to the house, Dodowa, around 10:09. And I stay overnight up to 2 a.m. to do some other business to support the family.
We're still listening to the stories of Ghanaians, stories of survival based on how much they earn. And I ran into these 2 gentlemen on the street. Incidentally, you work in the same company, right? What kind of business do you do?
Well, pharmaceutical company. We manufacture pharmaceutical products.
Okay. So how long have you been working for?
21.
21 years. You know what the minimum wage is? What you are paid every day, if you divide your salary, do you think it's up to 15 cedis or more?
My current salary, yes, it's up to 15 cedis.
So they pay you minimum wage?
My salary, because of the number of years I've been with the company, I'm not paid based on the minimum wage.
So you get more than minimum wage?
Yes.
Okay. How are you surviving the current economy with your salary?
It's not easy, based on transportation, food prices, and all other utilities bill that has been increased currently. We are just managing life, seeing that maybe things will turn around for the better.
Are you surviving? It means that you are comfortable, aren't you?
Comfortability? No. Yeah. I'm not. I live at Kasua. I stay at Kasua.
And you come to Accra?
And my transport alone, in and out, is 20 cedis. Sometimes you have to take Ayalolo to cut down the cost. Ayalolo is taking, previously, I've been paying 8 cedis. Then Ayalolo also came out to say they are now going to take 9 cedis. So we could see that the difference is only 1 cedi. So you standing in the bus, rather you pay the 1 cedi and sit down in the truck.
That's what you do?
That's what I do.
What other expenses do you have to deal with as a person?
Expenses? Oh, a lot. School fees, I'm paying for 3 children.
You have 3 children?
Yes, 3 children.
You have a wife?
Yes, I have a wife. And you could see that after the month, if not because of our manager who is sympathizing with the condition that we are having, like it will be worse.
So imagine if they were paying you the minimum wage.
No, then I have to create a hole and bury myself. that one, it cannot. How do you live by that?
You cannot.
You cannot. There is no one that can live by that.
Kaneshi is 4 cities, in and out is 8 cities. Deducting 8 cities out of 14 cities or 15 cities. Let's round it up to 15 cities. How much would they eat? Cocoa and then both fruit is now costing about 7 cities.
Yeah, cocoa is now from 2 cities above.
2 cities, and then bread. Bread, they don't even cut bread 3 cities. So I think within 2-3 minutes, the 15 cities is gone.
So for you, if you were earning 15 cities, it's pointless.
There is no way you can even survive.
I even advise people who come from Kasua to come and take 15 cities, not to even come. Because when you come, you lost.
So that's Godwin and Foster sharing their story with me, the story of survival in the Republic of Ghana in relation to the state of the economy and how much people earn every day, the minimum wage. This is Citi Newsroom on Citi TV. And while we are at that, let's talk about the issue of labor. How can you survive these two issues of how much you earn versus how much you spend? Eno Safo has a story for us interacting with a labor analyst.
The government of Ghana has announced that the minimum wage for workers in Ghana has been increased to 14.88 Ghana cedis effective January 2023. The 14.88 Ghana cedis minimum wage increase shows a 1.35 Ghana cedis increase from the 13.53 Ghana cedis minimum wage in 2022. The Minister for Employment and Labour Relations announced that this would be welcoming news to Ghanaians given the current economic dispensation. Is this amount justifiable? A labour consultant, Senyor M. Ejabing, says the 14.88 Ghana cedis minimum wage announced by government will make little to no difference in the lives of employees in the face of the current economic challenges. He explains that it is important to strike a balance in remunerations in order to protect employers and their businesses while cushioning employees against the hardships.
So depending on where you stand, you may say that it's either justifiable or not. But the point is that the economic situation is such that the indicators are clear, and where a liter of fuel is more than the current daily minimum wage, then certainly employees will tell you that generally it will be acceptable to say that it's difficult, for employees to actually accept this. However, let's remember also that on the employer side, employers are also feeling the pinch. And so it's about a balance. But realistically, we can conclude that it is a bit too little to make any difference in the lives of employees who may currently be struggling.
Senor Jabing, however, shot down calls for the dollarization of salaries and allowances, saying that such a move is not sustainable and would further weaken the cedi.
Some have said that therefore salaries should be pegged to the dollar. I think that is just a short-term measure to an everlasting problem. We've always known our cedi has always depreciated, and it's been in decline for over a decade. So it's not something that is going to go away. It has to be solved and resolved holistically, such that workers can be remunerated fairly and also realistically, so that we can continue to produce as a country, and without hardship, employees would not be impoverished.
The economic situation is really a troubling one for many, and we've been hearing various views on how people are surviving. And this is coming in the wake of the government's announcement of the new minimum wage. And it appears that the minimum wage is really even minimum for people to survive. Now, what are the numbers looking like, the statistics around this particular discussion we are having, the statistics around employment, unemployment, salaries, survival, and so on? Vivian Kailoko, my co-anchor, is looking at that.
Thank you very much, Umar Sanda, for bringing us that on how people are surviving with the minimum wage or under the minimum wage. Now, another question that is arising is a comparison of the current figure we have with others across the sub-region and really the global scene, what others are receiving on the minimum wage. But is that discussion or those questions, are they tenable? I'm going to be joined by a head of research here at Citi FM and Citi TV, Nathan Kwao, to give us an idea what the figures are in Africa, the sub-region, and the global scene, and whether it makes sense to do a comparison, considering that the conditions and then the living conditions in those other countries are way different than ours. Nathan Kwao, welcome to the Citi Newsroom.
Thank you very much, Vivian.
Great. Now, the conversation on the minimum wage continues, especially because of the announcement we've seen. But tell us, in the sub-Saharan area, what are the figures like?
Well, to put things into context, you find a lot of other sub-Saharan African countries determining their wages, say, over a monthly. So whereas we'll do a daily minimum wage, most West African countries will do a minimum wage over a monthly period. So I feel that we need to start off from there. So to level the ground, let's multiply our minimum wage by, say, 20 working days. That gives us an amount of about 297 cedis, or say almost 298 cedis. Now, on that basis, then we can compare the other. If you go to Nigeria, their monthly minimum wage is about 30,000 naira, which is 987 cedis. Now, if you strike your average on a daily, that's about 32 cedis. Now, if I extend it to a country like, say, South Africa, then we start to get into very interesting numbers. Now, their minimum monthly wage is about 3,522 cedis. Strike that by a working month, then you get about 117 cedis per day.
Now, the discussion is also on the fact that the figure we're seeing that will take effect in January, really it's a reduction by at least 50%, considering the cedi, dollar, and all those issues that come to play. Can you explain to us further what that is about?
Well, if you look at our current exchange rate, which is between the cedi and the dollar, we are doing about 13 or 14 cedis. The minimum wage per what was announced by the government is 14.88 cedis. So we are barely doing $1. Right, we are barely doing $1. Now, if you go back, say, to 2020, our minimum wage at the time was 11.82 cedis. The exchange rate at the time between the cedi and the dollar was around 5.8 cedis. So you were looking at a $2 minimum wage per day. If you go to 2021, the minimum wage was increased to 12.53 cedis. The dollar exchange rate at the time was 5.7 cedis. So you could safely say that we were getting $2 a day as a minimum wage.
Thank you very much, Nathan Kwao. Nathan Kwao is head of research here at Citi FM and Citi TV, helping us to understand the trends we've seen with the minimum wage over the period, what may be accounting for what we've seen that is expected to take off in January, and then what our neighbors are also given to their workers here in Africa. Stay with us. We'll be right back. You're still watching the Citi Newsroom. My name is Vivian Kai Loko. I'm doing this today with Umaru Sanda Amadou. When we come back, we'll take you to the Ashanti region and bring you details of the beheading of an unidentified man. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
It's Fish Festival. The Ministry of Fisheries and Aquaculture Development and its partners will hold a fish festival from 24th of November to 25th November 2022. The two-day fish festival will involve a Durbar, exhibition of fishing and aquaculture inputs, fish products, a fish market, as well as panel discussion on topical issues in the sector. The theme for the festival is promoting sustainable fisheries and aquaculture for national development. Venue, the Black Star Square. It's Fish Festival.
Please listen carefully. God is speaking to us.
It's that time again. Impact 2022.
Today, we block the delays. We override the delays. We will celebrate the victory and the triumph. Put your cancel every delay tactics of the enemy on the account of the blood of Jesus.
Ministering Apostle Joshua Selman.
God does not speak sympathizing with your current situation. He speaks as touching your destiny.
Pastor Jerry Eze.
I command the power of delay be broken. Let your amen thunder louder.
Reverend Eastwood Anaba.
The time has come for you to stop playing religion and take your destiny in your hand.
Bishop Gregory Toussaint.
Spiritual warfare is first of all a lifestyle. You fight Satan primarily by the way that you live.
Dr. David Enchi. Apostle Francina Norman, Prophet Victor Kusibuate, Prophet Ajiman Prempe, introducing Minister Jonathan Rubain. 8 days and 8 nights of power and impact, including a prayer breakfast on Saturday, December 3rd at the Prayer Mountain with Apostle Joshua Selman. Visit linktr.ee/actionch for transportation, registration, and prayer breakfast tickets. Impact 2022, bridging the gap.
Finally, anyone can become a household.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Hugo Flip, a real estate gaming platform that allows you to play and stand a chance of winning a house or cash or consolidated prizes, such as savings towards a house. Simple and easy to play. Visit www.hugoflip.com. Buy a ticket to enter the game. Wait for the end of the game to enjoy the win. Anyone can win. Flip it or own it. Hugo Flip. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Play responsibly, not for persons below 18 years, and gaming can be addictive.
Let's take a break from Accra and go to the Western Regional Capital, Takoradi, where that lady who drew national headlines after faking her kidnapping and also her pregnancy, Josephine Penyi-Mensah, has been convicted by the court in Takoradi, Circuit Court in Takoradi, and fined an amount of 7,200 cedis. She was supposed to go serving a jail term for 3 years, but the court considered the fact that she was pregnant and commuted that into a fine, which she's supposed to pay within a few days. 14 days, that is. Our correspondent, Akwesi Ejenim, has the rest of the story.
27-year-old Josephine Penyi-Mensah, resident of Colombia in Takoradi, has been facing prosecution since September 2021 after she was charged with 2 counts of deceiving a public officer contrary to Section 251B of the Criminal Offences Act and publication of false news with the intent to cause fear and panic contrary to Section 208, Subsection 1 of the Criminal Offences Act. On Thursday, the judgment day, Josephine arrived at the court pregnant in the company of her mother, but without the lawyer, Fifi Bachman. Reading the fact of the case before the judgment, the Takoradi Circuit Court A presiding judge, His Worship Michael Kojo Ampedu, said Josephine's husband, Michael Simmons, on 16 September 2021, informed the police that her wife, Josephine Penyi-Mensah, went missing on 16 September 2021 around 5 a.m. while jogging and with 10-month-old pregnancy. On 21 September 2001, Josephine was found by a carpenter near a Jehovah's Witness church at Azim in the Western region. She alleged that she was kidnapped and the kidnappers forced her to deliver as well as took away her baby. Doctors who examined her at Azim Hospital, where she was first taken to, and later doctors at Efiam Kwanta, both did not find any post-pregnancy signs, physical injuries, or marks of violence. The presiding judge told the court that at the Efiam Kwanta Hospital, the accused admitted to investigators in the presence of doctors, the husband and the mother that she faked her pregnancy because she lost her pregnancy in May 2020 after she took rash energy drink and decided to fake the pregnancy to avoid shame. He said, despite Josephine later denying at the court this admission, Josephine even admitted to planning and lying about her kidnapping and faking her forced delivery. His Worship Ampedu therefore acquitted her on the charge of deceiving a public officer since her deceit was to her husband, but found her guilty for the charge of publication of false news. Although the lawyer, Fifi Bachman, was not at the court at the time of the judgment, he spoke to Citi News following the judgment.
I must say that we are appreciative to the court because in respect of offense of this nature, as has been amended, she should have been sentenced for about 6 years. But, we were able to pull some strings here. The lady was pregnant, and so the courts had to consider her pregnancy and give her that fine of 600 penalty units.
For Citi News, I'm Akwesi Ejenim, Takoradi.
Let's bring you some other stories, and let's take you to the Ashanti region because an unidentified man was found today who had been beheaded. Our regional correspondent there has more details.
The beheaded body of the unidentified man was spotted in the bush by some indigents of the community. They subsequently informed opinion leaders of the community, who also informed the police about the incident. When the police visited the scene, they found gunshot wounds in parts of the body that was without the head. Assembly member for the Dapafo electoral area, Emmanuel Chinibu Okodia, says the deceased is not an indigent of the area.
When the police and NADMO opened the rubber bag, we see a young man from 35 going age. He was a fair color. So they take pictures, they assess body and see that they have shoot him with a gun and the body was there, but they have cut his head from the body. We didn't get anything that will identify the person. And within our area, we would say that that man is not from our area.
He, however, called for intensified police patrol in the area to curb such crimes.
The body is on the mortuary at Nkranza. So we are just making announcement to the public that if your family member or you can't find him from Monday going, you can come and check whether it is him or not. Secondly, I just appeal to the security agent from municipal commander and divisional regional IJP himself. We need a checking point in our area.
The incident has thrown the entire community into a state of shock. Police have begun investigations into the incident.
You're watching the Citi Newsroom on Citi TV. My name is Omar Sanda Amado. Still ahead, the Black Stars make Ghanaians happy and hopeful as they score 2-0 to defeat Switzerland in the last international friendly before the World Cup.
Listen close. Something is happening. NASCO Massive Promo has begun. NASCO up to 50% discount is here.
This season, a NASCO Massive discount. It's NASCO new promo. What are you waiting for? This season, we are offering massive discounts up to 50%. Yes, on selected items from NASCO.
Call 0242 439 437. NASCO, bring home happiness.
Plus is a fully skimmed evaporated milk. Creamy Plus is available in a shop near you.
This message has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
This is Doha, this is Qatar. We come together tonight, a billion of us, in every corner of the globe where the beautiful game matters.
Here for the show-stopping magic of a moment.
Get DSTV access with an HD decoder plus dish kit for only 169 Ghana cedis and upgrade to compact to watch all the 64 matches. Here for every fan.
In 1957, the Gold Coast gained political independence from Great Britain after approximately 83 long years of colonial rule. 65 years later, is the Black Star still a shining example of Black excellence, resilience, royalty, and sophistication for the African continent? Or is the Black Star simply a Black Star? What has become of us? What has really become of Ghana? What is the true state of the nation?
The Matrix Verse, Ghana at 65, the state of the nation. A poetry concert by Apioko, coming to you on the 18th of November 2022 at the National Theatre, in partnership with the National Theatre of Ghana, the KGL Foundation. Tickets, VIP Black, 300 Ghana cedis single, 550 Ghana cedis double. Standard Red, 200 Ghana cedis single, 350 Ghana cedis double. Student Gold, 100 Ghana cedis. For ticket purchases, dial the short code *447*. star 2173 hash. Partners, UNESCO, BU by Bellamundi, Ehala Casa, The Musical Lunatics, Colorcast Print Solutions, Avonzige Fashion House. Sponsors, Create Concert, Poetry Association of Ghana, Himaya Ushering, Ahaspora Young Professionals, Democrats Abroad, Ghana, the European Union. Media partners, Citi TV, 97.3 Citi FM, Ghana Weekend, Amayo Deborah Media, Hyperlink. This is a Beyond the Return event. The Matrix Verse is an Apioko and Fablinks co-production supported by Tunic Africa.
Ghanaian lovers of football have been given something to be excited and hopeful about as the national Black Stars defeat Switzerland 2-0 in the last friendlies of the national team before the World Cup commences. Let's bring you more on what happened.
Antoine Semenyo and Mohamed Salisu grabbed debut goals as Ghana beat Switzerland 2-0 ahead of the 2022 FIFA World Cup in Qatar. The Swiss failed to deal with a corner kick by substitute Daniel Kofichire, allowing defender Mohamed Salisu to loop a header past Jan Soma. Ottawado's side doubled its lead just 4 minutes later after Kamaldeen Suleiman's run caused some carnage in the Swiss box. The ball eventually broke to Antoine Semenyo, who found the net for Ghana's second. Black Stars head coach Ottawado was happy his team created more chances than the Swiss in a post-game interview.
They connected well with the old players, and I think we allow less chances. We allowed some chances, but they were less, and we created a lot. And so I'm very, very happy for this game, despite the result. Because now, if we win or lose, we don't get any points at the World Cup. So we have to focus on Portugal very much. But this is a good start. I think it's about concentration. It's about the delivery, and the players had good position. We had some chances, and we scored one goal, and so it's really, really good. For the players to see that we can score like this, and but also in terms of creating chances, I think we were good. It's not about set pieces all the time, but also with the way we played, we went deep. We had the right timing for deep runs, good position in between the line, good chip balls behind the line, and if we would be a little bit more lucky to say, we could have scored even more.
On his part, Mohamed Salisu stated it was a good feeling to get his maiden goal for the Black Stars.
I'm happy to score my first goal for the nation, and I'm very happy. And then I think we play well. We play very well. All the boys are really good, you know. Yeah. I think I should have scored the first half goal, and then I missed the first half. And then in my mind, I was thinking I need to score in the second half. You know, that's what was in my mind. We are all from different clubs, and then I think we have a good quality in the team, young players. I think they all play in the top level, and then I think it's a young team with a good talent. Yeah, I think when we focus on our journey, we can do more.
After the win, Citi Sports sampled opinions of some football fans.
Ghana did well today. I'd say they did very well, and we would give them much applause. Even though it's just the friendlies, they did well. They did what we expected them to do. So.
Which player performance did you enjoy?
So I really enjoyed how the DIU controlled, being the captain. He controlled the field, and then our strikers, they did well. Inaki Williams did some runs. They did very well. And then I'd say Jordan needs a bit more of improvement. He doesn't need to hold the ball. Just release so that we can play and enjoy the game.
It was quite okay. The way they are playing is like there's more like mature person, people playing football. That is how I see it.
It's average. Yeah. Okay. And who was your favorite player today in the game? Oh, I was praying for Banya to perform well so that they can give the local guys a stake. You see. Yeah. So apart from Banya, who else did you enjoy? I like everybody. This is part. Yeah.
The Black Stars get its 2022 FIFA World Cup campaign underway on Thursday, November 24 against Portugal.
Let's take you to the Nanumba North municipality of the Northern Region now, where Nanumba health officials at the Municipal Assembly have been taking action on shop owners who are hoarding and selling goods that are not fit for purpose. They have confiscated the goods and destroyed them. Our correspondent Mohammed Aminu Alabira has more.
On Thursday morning, officers of the Environmental Health Unit of the Nanumba North Municipality destroyed expired goods they seized from shops in town. The Environmental Health Unit, clothed with the responsibility to ensure the health of the citizenry, embarked on an exercise in Bimbila town, targeting expired goods. Some goods, including soft drinks, rice, Maggi cubes, among others, were seized in the process. The Municipal Director of the Environmental Health Unit, Alhassan Abdul Somed, tells Citi News the exercise will be sustained to ensure the safety of customers.
So as part of our mandate, we do inspect the food premises and then premises that deal with anything that is consumable, that the public consume. So we do carry inspections there. So one of our inspections, we went to the stores that sell these consumable goods. And when we went there, we detected that a lot of items expired and they are still in the stores for sale. Actually, it's a routine activity that we do. Because every now and then we go to inspect the food vendors, we inspect the drinking bars, we inspect stores, anything that has to do with people consumption.
He spoke on the dangers of consuming expired goods whilst advising customers to be vigilant at all times.
People should be observant. Whatever item they are going to buy, they should make sure that they check for the expired date, because it has a purpose. That is why they kept it there. You will never see Food and Drugs Board giving approval to an item that has no expiry dates. So the expiry date is very important, but to the general public, as far as it is in the stores, when they go, what they only do is that they just pick and move. They don't check for the expired dates. Yeah. So my advice is that they should always be watchful of the expired dates.
When Citi News interacted with store owners, there were mixed reactions. They also commended the Environmental Health Units for the exercise.
We usually take stock of what is inside the stock. So regularly we check to see what is inside and check on expiry dates. And some of the goods that are broken, bring them out. Because we know some people will come regularly to check. So when they come and they see even some scratches on some goods, they take them away. So in order for us not to be caught with those goods, we usually take them before they come. For like a place like India, most of them, they are not educated. So we, the shop owners, usually check for the expiring dates before they come. So when somebody comes to see even something expired, we explain to them that it's a mistake, but we take it off.
We'll take you to the fisheries industry because the Minister of Fisheries and Aquaculture wants stakeholders to invest more in that sector. Why? Have a listen.
There is an increasing demand for fish in the country by the public, though its supply is mostly a challenge. Fisherfolk have on several occasions complained about the difficulties they go through in getting bumper harvest to feed fish lovers. The Ministry of Fisheries and Aquaculture Development, as part of measures to address the issue of dwindling fish stock in the country, introduced closed season periods that are implemented annually. In a Citi News interview ahead of a fish festival to be held in Accra, the Director of Finance and Administration at the Sector Ministry, Rosemary Abbey, says it will be a step in the right direction if investors express interest in the industry.
Anybody who invests in aquaculture, it's a venture that has a returns which is very high. So anybody who invests in aquaculture hasn't lost or misplaced their money in any way. There are good returns that would come forth. And it is also going to provide job opportunities for others. As they invest, we would have the opportunity to invest more in the sector, get gears, required gears that will help the fishing sector to grow. Because if you don't use the right gear, it means you are going to catch stocks that are very small. So once we invest in it, we are able to get the right gears that will inform the fishers to do the right fishing and do the right fishing methods so that we can get enough fish for our stocks level.
She shed more light on the upcoming Fish Festival.
The National Fish Festival is slated for 24th and 25th of November 2022. The venue being the Independence Square, that is the formerly Black Star Square. Yes. The Fish Festival, as we all know, has the main objective of promoting what our fishers do. Over the years, they have contributed a lot to our food security. And so they being our contributing agent for national development when it comes to gross domestic products of the economy, we thought it wise to have an occasion where we would showcase what they have been doing over the years and then how their work will also impact on the livelihoods of the people in the country.
Reporting for Citi News, my name is Philip Latte.
Well, from the Parliament House of Ghana, that's it for today's edition of the Citi Newsroom. My name is Vivian Kai, local.
And my name is Umaru Sanda Amadu. Thank you for watching.